What is going on, guys? We are back on another video today, and we are doing another rebuild on Madden 22. Today it is a realistic style rebuild of I don't know who yet. We have to wait 5 years and then go to that team. The thumbnail maybe already spoiled it, maybe the title, but I personally at this point do not know. As of course, I spent about a good 30 minutes to an hour. I was also kind of watching something while doing it, you know, a little away from the screen moment. Adding all those devs back for like the 40th time. I also have another roster ready to go for that fantasy draft guide, which will be a little bit tougher because I didn't really think about it till just now. But, you know, normally we kind of aim for a specific spot. It's like, 16 or 17. But obviously with how long it takes to add these devs, and maybe not for that video, but for this one, the extra years, you can't really, you know, make all the players star and superstar and then go in, oh, I guess I'll back on and do it again. That's just not very realistic. So that one may be a little bit more challenging. Maybe it'll be next week sometime. I don't know. But, of course, in this one, this is also a little bit of a sort of, you know, figuring out how the league will look in the future kind of situation. But I suppose the next logical thing to do would be to sim 5 years. Now, I really hope I don't mess it up, but everything's on auto. And also, we do have that nifty little feature that they added, which usually doesn't get much burn, but it will for us today, is we will be able to go back in time and look at all the MVPs and Super Bowl winners and all that. Obviously, this is all irrelevant, as that's, you know, in the past. We're looking for in the future's past. I did want to do this for some time. Obviously, we're not going to do 10 years. I was thinking about doing it. The reason why I didn't want to is I was like, if I go 10 years in the future, like 80% of the real-life rookies could be gone based on age or just not developing or whatever it may be. I kind of want to actually see how they're doing. I want to live in a world where the class from real life... Oh, I should have actually done the rookies. We can still do that. The next season's rookies. You know, the class from real life is kind of the future, if you will. It's like, you know, it's the present. And hopefully we can still do that. I imagine we can. Yeah, we can. You know, maybe it's Malik Willis and Ritter are the best two QBs in the league rather than, you know, like Mahomes and whatever, you know, kind of situation, you know, youth-wise going forward, Herbert and Allen and all that. But we'll see, as obviously we're not actually the Chiefs. We're just, once again, going to hold on to this team until it is time to take control of another. I was looking for a segue to, like, sell out and be like, leave a like and subscribe. I don't have one. Just do that if you like franchise. And if you're a continued supporter, you know, you're somebody that's watched the channel before, whether you're subscribed or maybe you watched the channel earlier in the year of Madden and you just came out here and you're like, I'm going to see what's up, and you came back. Appreciate you a ton, and let us get into this thing. With the powers of editing and me watching a YouTube video for about 7 minutes in the background, we are officially in 2026, which would actually technically be 2027. I may have technically done 1 year extra, but what I wanted was 5 years of actual game time being simmed. So 2021 would have technically been the rookie year coming up here, 2022. So 2022, 2023, 24, 25, 26, 27, which would actually still only be 5 years because 21 to 26. But enough confusing you. Let's take a look at the league history. Take a look at the last 5 Super Bowls. I kind of didn't want to see that, but here would be the real-life year coming up with the Chiefs beating the Falcons 49-7. Of course, being the MVP of the Super Bowl is Patrick Mahomes. Defensive and Offensive Rookie of the Year were real-life players. They weren't actually any of the ones that we would have expected. Coach of the Year goes to Robert Saleh. Of course, MVP and Offensive Player of the Year goes to Lamar Jackson. And then Von Miller, Defensive Player of the Year, which would be pretty impressive. And I accidentally backed out. Nice. Be pretty impressive for him to, you know, go to another new team and do really well. Not quite a Super Bowl well, but good anyways. And of course, 2022, you have the Chiefs winning back-to-back with an MVP of Mahomes. Coach of the Year again, Saleh. I'll be honest, you know, it's kind of like, do they really deserve, you know, does he really deserve it if back-to-back years he didn't make the Super Bowl or even come close? I don't know. I'm just saying. But Mahomes' actual league MVP, Robert Quinn, we know that guy's a freak. And then this year, no Chiefs at all, but Mahomes, you know, is MVP again. The Bengals winning the Super Bowl over the Cowboys. So 3 straight, AFC teams winning that bowl. Obviously, we also have Khalil Mack, former Bears player technically, winning MVP. Let's go with this year. It's now the Cowboys back in there again. This time actually winning it. Mahomes MVP yet again. And of course, Joey Bosa, Defensive Player of the Year and all that. And then the most recent year, you had the Ravens winning it all. Joe Mixon, their rival, was the MVP. You had the Bengals coach, also Coach of the Year. Chase Young, Defensive Player of the Year. And then, some rookies we've never heard of, obviously, because, well, I mean, we're in the future now. All right, so it is officially week 1 of the 2026, is it? 2027 season. And based on overalls, there are 2 teams that are worse than Green Bay. It is the Rams and the Eagles. But both of those teams have starting quarterbacks. Seattle is in a better spot. Houston's in a much better spot. And I think the Titans also have Malik Willis at like an 83 overall still. I've looked through the teams, and I actually legitimately think, coincidentally enough, Green Bay is the worst team, which, if you were to look at real life, isn't the furthest thing from expected reality. Obviously, losing Rodgers and not having an answer at quarterback. I mean, look at this team. Sure, you have Dillon, who's okay still, but you don't have like a burner. The wide receivers are literally all old and bad. The tight end, Laporta, is, actually halfway decent. I would have given him everything. Elton Jenkins is 30. The rest of the line sucks outside of Zach Tom, who's started elementary at 87 overall. He actually looks all right. They stole the Lions left end, who's not great. Devontae Wyatt's still here, but his overall is not great. He's an 83 overall. Kenny Clark's really solid, but he's 30. Looking at Enagbari, he's a low overall, 26. Middle linebacker's actually looking pretty solid. Right outside linebacker, not terrible. Corner, Jair's good for a while. J.C. Horn is here, which is impressive. That's the one position they have good is corner. They decided to keep Adrian Amos. That's how bad this team is. Based on like the front page overall, the lowest overall is 86. If you were to go across the league, the other 86 would be the Rams. Once again, they have a young quarterback, Dylan Rollins, who's star development trait. You would definitely be able to start him. So quarterback being the toughest position to grab and develop, they already have that where this team doesn't. Looking across the league, I'm not seeing anything lower than an 86 so far. It was literally the Rams that tied it. Maybe that punter there maybe was kind of unfair to go against. But, looking across the league here, I don't see a team worse than Green Bay. And as a Packers fan, it's extra fun for me. The Lancers, of course, as well. The Bills. But you see Green Bay is the lowest overall on that low overall thing. Looking at the quarterbacks, like, literally everyone has a quarterback. The Saints are a little iffy, but still he's semi-young, I suppose. What else? You have this guy, Devin McFadden, you could probably use. Seahawks would be a close call, but Tank Bigsby, Metcalf, they're still really solid players there. But, yeah, based on looking across the league, I think Green Bay, at this point, specifically looking at quarterback as well, is the worst team in the league. They drafted 5th overall last season, it seems. I had the Titans, and I had to delete the footage because this guy's a superstar development trait safety. He is maybe the best drafted non-user created class safety I've ever seen. Superstar development trait with 94 speed. Of course, he's 5'11", but he's actually insane. They still had Malik Willis was looking strong. I was looking through the names. I was like, yeah, but they have this going off for them. And I was like, actually, they're a really good team. Their wide receiver position's bad, but it's still way better than ours here in Green Bay. And based on draft pick, they did go 17th. So, just saying. But that's beside the point. We're going to need a miracle. I'm going to try to find a quarterback that's maybe not the best. This guy would be a very nice quarterback for us, but it would cost us a lot. Like, the game is glitched. And I know in real life, you have a guy like Mac Jones that you're believing in, but if you draft a guy this high, he kind of needs to be paid that. What am I doing? I'm trying to look for when he was drafted. I want to give them literally the exact value that they took him at for it to be fair, and it's going to be very high. 18, actually. 18. Do I give him a first-round pick for that quarterback? Maybe. Holy throw power, though. This guy's literally giving me Rodgers vibes. I kind of want him. I'm not going for him. Pick 1. You know, we're just going to draft a quarterback. We're just going to play it and play it cool, draft a QB, whatever. Yeah, this is a group of talented players. I don't know who's this? Ricky Rodgers. That's a cool name, actually. Doesn't necessarily have a place to start. Actually, Tenuda's pretty trash, to be honest. So, I know you want the long-haired guy there. Presley, who's he? Hold up. We've got star development traits and above, potentially. I don't know, maybe this guy's superstar. Just coming out of the woodwork, looking kind of good, actually. Ricky Rodgers playing left tackle, and he is a superstar. Okay, maybe we're still in a really bad spot. Zach, stop it right now. We'll fix that in a moment, though. Presley, Nathan Presley, how old is he? He is a youngster. Kind of looks like a center, though. He's got to be small. 6'5", actually. I think John Runyon can be replaced, so that's where we're going to put him at, right guard. I mean, we're still in a pretty bad spot, but this team they've got a couple of gems in there. We need a new running back, a new quarterback, every wide receiver, still some linemen, probably a lot of players on defense. But hey, other than that, this game's actually joking. Every single time I change someone's position, they're like, no, I want to play that now, which literally sounded like I want to rock that right now, so do not sue me, please. Who's this, by the way? Oh, is this the young corner? So yeah, this team is absolutely set at cornerback, but that's like literally it. Also, I'm going to make his like facial hair look like he's here with us in the future. Look at my boy. He lost like 10 years, maybe 15, 20 years on his life. Well, not lost. He's not going to die sooner. God damn it. White safety? Another Rodgers. This team is just like... They're like a freaking clingy ex-girlfriend, boyfriend as well. Hey, you know, it's anything can happen. And I'm not judging one gender or sex, if you will. Someone's not been as sex. Sure, I'll take it. Well, if you're offering. Interconference trade, Runyon to Washington for a 4th-round pick. He's 29, but he's normal dev. He's a pretty decent player. I think that's a fair trade for all. And because I switched teams, I didn't get any of the, kind of preseason media or scenario type of things. I didn't get the camp breakout or, mentorship, whatever, any of that stuff. So, kind of an L. Also, don't care about Jared Goff, so checking in on a quarterback means nothing to me. Okay, so far, without changing scheme, having the same exact coach and all, we're going 0-5, which makes me feel good about my choice. Some would say that probably means that they are a bad team. Some, not all, but some would say that. Personally, I wouldn't, obviously. Screw the bye week thing. I hate that thing. It's so useless. And yeah, the scheme is literally the same. I had no idea old quarterbacks get breakouts. Interesting. Could you imagine Jared Goff is the future Super Bowl winning quarterback of the Green Bay Packers? That would be a storyline. Well, he's done. There's a couple of top 5 QBs. I just don't know if I want to actually scout them because, yeah, we're desperate. Screw that, dude. We're desperate for quarterback. That's going to be our number 1 pick, assuming we do have a top 5 pick. Well, I almost forgot negotiations. I'm like, yeah, we suck, but we do still have players we want to keep. Kenny Clark is one of them. Van Jefferson. Okay, so Slayton is definitely a guy I want to keep. We are rich as hell. I'm still going to treat this as much of a realistic rebuild as I can. So a guy like Slayton would probably be worth at least probably even more than that, but at least it's a lot more realistic than what he wanted, a 3-year 16, which is just like pennies. Of course, Pascal, not a bad scheme fit. Not a bad player either, so a 3-year 22, I suppose, is fair. Anything else? Danny Gray, we are desperate, but are we that desperate? We actually legitimately might be. But let's go on to the main importance, though. Mr. Kenny Clark, a 2-year, I'd say 42 is fair. 30 years old, it's up there, but it's not that up there. Adrian still being here in general is probably not something that should have been a thing. Jared Goff, now that's money I'd expect to see. I don't want him, though. I'd rather have just no quarterback than have him. Also, Kyle Poole, when was he drafted? Oh my god, they actually had a chance with this guy. He's actually very usable. What are they doing? They wasted him. This is giving me Jordan Love vibes. In the 7th. Wow, that's actually a steal, though. Well, it seems like a steal. If his ratings were close to that, it's a steal in my book. And headed to the playoffs, which, of course, you already know we are not in. 5-12. And, of course, Devontae Adams leading the league in yards. course, for his sake, he said he didn't want to be here if Rodgers was going to be gone anytime soon. And, I mean, that's just... I mean, we had a couple of wins in there, but, I mean, I wish we didn't even get those, to be honest, because we just really aren't ready, and we obviously knew that, which is why they were chosen. But let's take a look at the numbers regardless. Jared Goff was very poor. Dillon was awful. Receiving Van Jefferson, Peoples-Jones was decent, but Jefferson's definitely gone, and Peoples-Jones is probably gone as well. I mean, we can't, we don't have to pay him, but, I mean, his route running sucks, dude. Of course, blocking. Wow, the tackles. 36 sacks allowed combined. Oh, my. Of course, Wyatt, really good season, actually. 22 tackles for a loss as an interior 3-4 guy is pretty good. But, yeah, in general, the sacks were not great. The picks were awful. The kicking was decent. Punting was okay. Kick returner, the running back, he got himself a kick return touchdown. Not bad. 31st in offense. Wow, that's impressive. I can't imagine we would have won any sort of award. Like, I don't even remember any of our guys even playing at like an adequate level, let alone best in league level. Kicker, maybe? Yeah, number 5. It's about as close as we're going to get. Regardless, maybe we found ourselves a lucky dev up. I can't think of somebody that's young enough to matter for one. Like Devontae Wyatt could have maybe gotten a dev up there, but he's like 29, 30 anyways, so what's the point? But the Saints winning the Super Bowl over the Texans, which I don't think we've seen either of those teams in any of those sims we look back at. Looking at devs, none on offense. And then defense, like we said, Devontae Wyatt, I believe, was only star, and now he's superstar. It might be a little too late for him, but it's something to be happy about, I guess. Of course, probably need to replace Savage soon here, too. He's 30. Oh, my. Amos, we obviously know, is gone. Yeah, I'm glad we chose who we chose. Who is this now? They have such good corners, though. It's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, the corner talent around here is nuts. Of course, as far as J.C. Horn's contract goes, if he's on, needs to be paid soon, we might be able to trade him for a really good haul. Kind of hoping. Yeah, I mean, that's a really favorable contract in general. I think we can trade him off for like a late first, maybe mid to early second. I mean, this team just doesn't need corner. I mean, look at this. X Factor, Superstar, Star. But then you have Jair, who's literally 30, but probably, if he plays his cards right, maybe good enough till the end of this, which would be crazy to think, but maybe if it's like a 4-year rebuild, he could still be here. I just kind of want to take a look at the standings, see if we did make the right call. I mean, I think the Eagles were worse than us. Oh, wow, we're the bottom 3 team. That's kind of crazy, but the Eagles were, worse, but they ended up, losing to us. So I was like, oh, crap. The Eagles are going to be the worst team, but no, they ended up winning a couple of games there, and things go kind of our way. Top 3 pick is kind of all we need. As far as these guys go, yeah, I mean, I think I'm happy with letting go of the guys. Oh, actually, Kyle Poole is a cool little backup. I kind of want to keep him a 3-year 3-year $3 million. Not bad. We got ourselves a backup for the future. But yeah, quarterback needs to be selected here. Unless there's like a mid-level talent that's not costing me more than 20 per in free agency. This is like the deepest we've been in a rebuild in some time. So I'm not sure exactly what free agency is going to look like. Jalen Crowther. I honestly don't want him because of his name. I just feel like it's going to be such a challenge. But with our current wide receiver room, I think this team absolutely has to pay one. So that is likely going to be the route we take, and we're going to go with one of them. I don't know who, though. So I would say it's between these two. They're both similar in size. Obviously, there's a very big dev difference, obviously. Very good short, very good medium. Deep sucks, and his release sucks, which is very iffy. And then Crowther, who's an X Factor, is the opposite, more prototypical build. And honestly, with that release, looks so much better. You can almost also debate, though. We could kind of use both. A 5-year, $80 million deal. I think we have to go all in on at least one of them. At least one. So we're going to take a look at what 20 mil per looks like for him. That's a little bit higher than 20 mil per, to be honest, but we'll see where we're at. Ooh, wow. The Buccaneers are desperate, too. Well, I mean, there's no point in me doing a 5-year deal if no one else is willing to do a 5-year deal, right? I mean, it's expensive, but he is an X factor, right? I mean, it's fair money. These are positions of need. Not a position that's easy to get either. I think this team should know more than anyone because they've clearly struggled. I don't know where the hell Christian Watson went, but he wouldn't even be that young anyways. I think he's like 23, so he would have been like 27, 28 anyways. And yeah, I mean, I think we could pay this, especially since we're going to have a quarterback on a rookie deal, even though it's not going to be the cheapest rookie deal in the world. It still should be very manageable. Is there not like some other wide receiver we can kind of like sneak on? Like if that guy was 25, I would have probably went for him. Jose Huntington looks kind of interesting, but yeah, I can see why he's not getting offers. He is 24, but he's very raw. We're also going to be offering Sean Wharton a 4-year, $25 million deal. He looks pretty solid. I think you could even get a lot more for him, but it is down the line. I mean, the running back market, not a whole lot of teams needing running back right now, so I can see why it's not also the most insane ask. All right, so we did dump quite a bit of money into free agency. We're hoping to at least land one wide receiver. Let's see what we get. Hoping for them all, though, and we do. We also added Meyer, who is a 80 overall right guard. We gave him a 4-year 32, I believe. Warren, once again, was that 4-year 25, which is a super steal. Probably will start. And then 2 brand new wide receivers joining the squad at the number 1 and 2 spots. Both prototypical size, both prototypical athleticism, both solid-looking players. And based on overall, our overall is definitely up there a bit. We paid fair contract price. If it came down to and Poole needed to start, I'd allow it. I'm not really stoked about it, but he is also 26. He's not completely unusable. Right, of course, wide receiver looks so much better. O-line, we do need to move either Presley or Mayer over to center. Mayer is a smaller height, but as far as his weight goes, he is a big boy. He's a big boy, but we're going to put him at center anyways just because of that height. Be able to see over him easier, if you will. I don't even know if that's a word. But defense is now probably the primary focus. Edge rusher is hands down the biggest need. Safety is also something you could use. Interior D-line, I know we just paid Pascal, but, Devontae Whiting with Superstar is not safe. He's 29 years old, and he's a good overall. He's a decent player. That power move's nice, but might be looking to move on. And, of course, with Horn, if that value isn't crazy, a $5 million hit, I can take to bring in, maybe a high second, like we said. 5th-year options, which is interesting. We are looking at Kenny Akins, who I believe is that superstar development trade corner. I think you'd rather just sign him up, give him that long-term deal, maybe like a 5-year 80 or something like that. Also, don't know exactly what the cap room looks like now in our current league year. Quarterbacks, we have those top 5 scouted. I'm kind of thinking you scout these guys, though. Nah, I think if you're going QB, why wouldn't you just scout those guys fully so you know exactly what you're getting? Not very fast, great throw power. That's, it's a nice thing to see. And then Fasano, who I believe is not much faster, but he is faster. A deep, A medium. He is also 21 with good throw power, so he is a little bit lower, but he is faster. I think also with the fact that he has 2 A's, it makes him the better player. So I'm going to go with Lloyd Fasano, 6'4", hidden development trait, 90 throw power. His speed. I was looking at that athleticism, and I was like, wait a minute, he wasn't that good, was he? Oh my god, imagine if any of those ratings could be changed to speed. That is actually kind of illegal. Like, I'm not even going to joke with you, that is disgusting. But for rebuild sense, it's not that big of a deal. We're actually going to go to the next round because all my guys are 1 to 2, but I don't want to make too many plays. Just hoping one of them is there. Of course, our pick is here in 2 picks, but let's just see who is there still. Who's this? What's this? 1 to 3. Ooh, we must have had all the middle linebackers scouted. Is my outside linebacker there still? He is Jonathan Preston. He has that A finesse, and he's just athletic enough, but I get normal dev vibes from him, not going to lie. But at the same time, there's really no one else here other than unless we're going to take Hubbard. But either way, we're going to be risking it on Jonathan Preston, and I just knew it, dude. I knew he was going to be normal. However, he does have that speed-excel combo that you see very commonly from solid players, so not the end of the world, but also not my proudest moment. I do like that speed. I think I might be willing to take him. I'm going to take him. We need a replacement for Savage. And, oh, okay, so really good speed. Everything else, kind of an L, though. I thought maybe it would have been like 87, 88 Excel or anything like that, but I didn't think it was any 85. That's really bad. We're going to be taking the second round from the Colts next year, which is a little bit of a tough one because are they going to be 39? I don't know. We need this pick to be 40 or higher to be worth our value, but it is what it is. But yeah, they absolutely need him. Look at the cornerback room. Look at this cornerback room. Oh my... Safeties are good, but the corners are awful. Beard went all the way at pick 10. Definitely want to take a look at how good he was, but once again, I suppose unless they're superstar or higher, deving up a pass rusher isn't the craziest hard thing to do, so I guess it's not that big of a deal if they're normal or star, it really doesn't matter. We offer the Buccaneers our third next year and 131 this year for pick 80. I don't know if they've been paying attention to our roster or not, but this is like a little iffy one for them. But hey, could be pick 5 as well, which would be a huge dub. But with that pick, I think I'm actually going to take Nico Garcia. Solid bench press. Don't know his block shed or power move, but B tackle. I think he had a B pursuit. Going to risk it on him, and he is normal, but 89 strength, 72 speed. We'll have to see what the power move and or block shedding is. We're kind of betting on one of those being decent. We're going to go with this center who looks just good enough, especially with that pro day, to be selected, and of course, hidden development trait. I don't think he has a spot to start right now, but maybe in the future, perhaps. And we're going to go with Tony Hodges. Even though he's 6'1", he's got a B finesse, he's decently athletic. We're going to take a chance on him, and normal development trait, but 85 speed. Change direction is awful, by the way, but still looks okay. About 38 mil to work with in cap. We got a bunch of rookies that are... not the greatest in overall, but they're workable. Fasano, of course, the automatic starter with pretty good accuracies. Once again, we know the athleticism and injury with stamina is decent. Trigger-happy sense of pressure, not great. But let's take a look at his development. Also, I kind of want to change his number if I can. He's obviously starting, so it doesn't matter what dev he has. We're starting him regardless. Number 12, dude. I can't do that to him. I guess number... I don't really like any of those numbers, to be honest, but superstar. That's a win. That's a pretty big dub, actually. Of course, Jonathan Preston, who is normal development trait. He's also 22, I didn't notice. Is actually very usable, like we said, but if we're not going to use him right away, we're kind of wasting him. Of course, zone coverage isn't terrible either. Pat Meekins, 73 overall, and depending on Savage's overall, maybe a starter out the gate, so... Checking his dev may be a little cheatery, but I'm still kind of just interested. He's going to have a spot on the team no matter what, obviously, but will he start? I don't know. Start development trade. 44 is his number, which is very iffy. 72 overall, so I imagine decent block shed or power move, and he does. He is one of those power move guys. Now, will that matter? I don't know if we're going to have a spot for him. Center, I don't really care too much about, to be honest. And then Hodges, 74 overall normal, also 22. Very athletic, decent finesse move. He's kind of like a poor man's version of our guy, but also had to take him many rounds later, so not really liking that Preston pick right now, to be honest. Jesus. Yeah, Preston Smith. But obviously, we want to take a look at those quarterbacks. Adam Henry didn't matter too much because he was picked 1 overall, so it wouldn't have mattered, but the way he's built, the way he looks, is very Cleveland Brown-like. I'm getting like Brandon Weeden vibes here, even though he's actually young. But let's take a look at the dev. Superstar development trade as well. So we both landed solid QBs. Hudson Morgan, the 22-year-old, fell to number 5. I can't imagine Herbert not being good still. Wait, I cannot. I just assume what I was trying to say is what you think it is. That's... Because I don't know. But, of course, looking at... Ooh, dev. Star dev. 1 lower dev and 1 higher age. That is a bullet we have dodged. Of course, the Panthers went with quarterback as well. Peyton Kendricks, who was the most athletic out of the 3 or the 4, if you will, in the first round. And we will take a look at his dev. If it's superstar or higher, I'll be a little mad, but I still think we did a good job. And he is star. So, we did a pretty good job. What about the Dolphins, who could have went QB and didn't? Oh, they should have. He is athletic. I mean, in a user league, I'd rather have this guy than, most of the first rounders. But, yeah, I don't know. Of course, Juan Hubbard, who is normal, but an absolute burner. He is pretty damn good. And then the last guy I want to look at, I believe, was Beard, 71 overall. Of course, he was hidden. Faster than our guy, of course. Younger than our guy. Yeah, it's an L no matter what, especially if he's superstar or better. Thankfully he isn't, but he looks kind of beastly. So we sold, but we also had some good picks, specifically at the most important position in the entire sport itself, the quarterback one. All right, the squad, I actually did start Preston as Drew Sanders. Is actually more of like just a run-stopping, not even a coverage guy, he's just a run-stopper, and he's not really a pass rusher. But Fasano's the starter. It's superstar dev, which is great. Of course, Wharton, the new running back. I don't feel like I actually showed his ratings, but 5'9", which worries me. But juke move, spin move, change direction, trucking even, very good speed. I mean, he's really got it all. Solid route runner. The only thing he doesn't have is, run blocking, but very, very solid player. And he's only 25, so, I mean, he could be, the future superstar of this team. I don't know why anyone would let him go unless he was a backup of, an even better player, I suppose. But the new wide receivers, huge additions. Clutched up to get those guys. Maybe paid more than anyone else was willing to offer. But offensive line, we have all stars. But Jenkins is probably going to be on his way out sooner rather than later. And then Zach Tom hopefully is still here long enough for us to see this through. Of course, Sam Laporta, tight end, just fast enough. Good route runner. Decent enough catcher. We'll pay attention to his stats, but I think he'll probably be our starter for long term. And then Rodgers is a very good player. He's only 22, so I think he kind of has to start because I want him to develop and Meekins, but Savage is good enough to play one more season. So I think it's smart to start the quote-unquote older and less easy to develop player early. So when they're both starting, they'll be both kind of on the same page by maybe year 3 of this rebuild, if you will. Pass rushers, of course, like I said, Drew Sanders, not really a pass rusher. He's got no finesse, no power move, good block shed, and good coverage. I mean, he really is just kind of a middle linebacker. But at least with Preston, even though he's 22, he does have solid finesse, decent block shed, and he's fast. And Blair Rodgers gets his dev up, which technically means he's on par or already better than Meekins. Kind of technically, like it's a close call. 10 games in and actually looking pretty good. Quay Walker, still star development trait, unfortunately, but also still a solid player. Giving me like Devondre Campbell vibes, ironically enough. So I feel like maybe he kind of deserves a similar contract-ish. Like a 4-year, 47, I suppose, is fair. He's 27 to be 31. Be nice to get him to superstar and make me feel so much better. Kenny Akins, 89 overall, insanely fast man corner, 6'3". I mean, he's actually kind of in a league of his own here. And as much as, like, obviously, I don't want to pay these guys this much, right? But I'm trying to compare it to real life. That would be a low ball in real life. But in here, in Madden, obviously, that's an overpayment. So, do it how you will or read it how you will. But Devontae Wyatt, this is a guy I would not want to pay for more than 1 or 2 years. So I'd be willing to do something like a 1-year 12. And maybe it comes down to being tagged then. Because, like I said, I'm not paying a 29-year-old that's not probably going to progress a 3-year deal. Of course, Savage is obviously gone. Jair, I'm going to give him a 2-year deal worth like 44 or something like that. I think that's pretty fair. I ended up giving Devontae Wyatt a 1-year, $12 million deal with $11 million guaranteed. That may be technically more than the tag, but at the same time, at least locks him in case the tag is actually exceedingly expensive. We're willing to keep him for another year, so it doesn't really matter. So we had a pretty good season, but then we kind of choked. Are we in the playoffs? We are barely. Of course, the Lions choking a ton as well. We were within 2 for some time, and of course, they choked a bunch. We beat them, and we made it within 1, but not quite enough wins to take the division. We'll take a look at our season. Take a look at who we lost to. It was a really good start with, I think, like 7-3 or something like that, and then just a bunch of losses. 4 losses, 4 losses in 5 games. Beat the Lions, beat the Bears to solidify our spot in the postseason, but it was looking a little dreary there for a moment. Didn't really pay attention to the right side of the stats screen, but looking at our screen here, Fasano, way better numbers than Jared Goff. Yards are still kind of low, but picks are low-ish with 35 touchdowns. And as far as rushing goes, Wharton, better than A.J. Dillon performs, kind of how Dillon played last season. Touchdowns are really down, though. Miles, solid year, could go to superstar. Crowther, solid year, can't go any higher. Donovan Peoples-Jones is decent, and then Laporta was good for touchdowns. Yards were a bit iffy. Blocking, once again, the tackles were awful. Sack totals, please, guys. I mean, just not great, but kind of better than last year. Picks, really bad again. Noel, really good season. 88% on 27 attempts is really good. Perfect on the extra points, and really only missed one field goal because 2 were blocked, because we know how that Green Bay offensive line blocks on special teams. But okay, I mean, progression, positive moments, some okay things to be happy about. Of course, Mahomes winning another MVP. Let's take a look at if we won anything. Of course, offensive and defensive rookie of the year. Okay, I mean, I figured we'd win offensive, but defensive must have barely won that. But we'll take those awards. Those are big. But let's go in against those Detroit Lions, who we obviously just beat most recently. 90 overall to their 87. So we did turn it around quite a bit. That free agency period was nice. And obviously we had a decent draft, especially with that quarterback. Didn't change the XP sliders, because was that a floating plane again? I mean, once again, in EA's defense, that's what they do now, for the most part. Well, the really expensive ones can hover. So, obviously, those are the ones. We spare no expense around here, even though it's Detroit, who relocated their stadium, it appears. Okay. I mean, I can respect it. You know, everyone out, well, maybe not Minnesota, except for when their ceiling came in, has to play in the elements. So, I guess, right, they kind of manned up, but speaking of manning up, we're not manning up anyone, as we are just getting smoked. Offense was bad, but defense was... offense was bad. But I'd say debatably worse, but nah. Bryce Young played pretty well. Lloyd Fasano was way over his head. Wharton was actually really good, which is nice. So, I mean, Wharton seems decent, especially considering this isn't a scheme that's, like, run-heavy or anything like that. So, fair enough. Of course, pass rush was way better for them. They had 2 interceptions, and... I mean, we definitely have a lot of core guys, but there are a couple of guys we could maybe do better with. Once again, the pass rush is just absolutely atrocious. You have a Super Bowl between the Jets and the Rams, and the Jets win. Now, at least for the Jets, who are one of my top-tier choices as well for worst team in the league to rebuild, it clearly seems like we were right about them being not as bad as this team is. Once again, we made user moves that most AIs wouldn't be able to, and yet the Rams still made it further. So, I mean, say what you want. I think we made the right call. Of course, looking at the team right now, any dev ups, Miles was the guy that I expected to dev up, and he did, which is a nice dev up for him, and of course, getting his deep route and all that going, which is really awesome. He's a really good player. Of course, 6'1", 210, prototypical, like we said. Crowther, 95 overall, X-Factor now. I mean, well, not now, but he, X-Factor. Short route sucks. Can almost debate that he's worse than our other players, especially since he doesn't have possession catch trait, which, once again, we've proven doesn't matter, but still, it's the aesthetic. All right, relax. As far as defense goes, Preston, I believe, is the only guy to go up in dev. Sadly, Quay Walker doesn't. We really need you to go up in dev, buddy, but apparently tackles are not enough. But regardless, we're going to get a little bit cheaper, so we can probably pay more players if we want to in free agency, and maybe it'll put us over the edge. Once again, this is going to be a little bit tougher than most rebuilds because, we're kind of coming from behind a bit here. Hey, my favorite. And we're going to be at best just as good or slightly better than other teams, whereas in other rebuilds, we're quite a bit better, and even then we don't always win, so... This could just be a failed rebuild, but obviously we're going to give it a go all the way until the end, being 5 years. Not the end of the whole franchise, relax. Could you imagine? But of course, we don't need him, as Akins is debatably better than Jalen Ramsey already. Well, not already, but in this sense, because Jalen is obviously much slower, and of course his man coverage in general is a lot worse as well. And speed, we all know, absolutely kills a mofo. Absolutely murders. I think Chris Jones is going to be a guy that we're going to grab and play him on the interior, and I don't think that's really going to change a whole lot, but maybe it makes our pass rush a little bit more deadly. Maybe it doesn't, I don't know, but a 1-year 12 is pretty small to pay, which we do get him, of course. All right, so we have pick 21, and there's 2 pass rushers that look pretty decent. Greg Brown being one of them, a little bit on the bigger side, but super good with that power move, tackling on top of it. 4.6 40. I mean, he's athletic enough probably to make the switch to outside linebacker, but we also do have a more fitting player, Daryl Odom. I don't really know what his actual finesse is. Does it show? I put more scouting. I saw the B block and a B tackle, and all it did was add more to his coverage, which is great to know. So Greg Brown, we know, is a great pass rusher. Odom, we don't know about, but we also do know that Greg Brown is a bit tougher to get. As he's around 1, we might have to trade up for him. We also do have a bunch of other players that look decent. This guy being probably the most spectacular out of all of them. The fact that he is so blazingly fast and could play corner. I don't think we need a first-round slot corner, but Jair won't be here that much longer, and that guy is 21. But I think if we were to bet on anything, it's probably not a safety/corner. You know, I think we're set there. I think I'd be willing to go to pick 12, and if that pass rusher, Brown, is still there, I might make the trade up. And, of course, he goes to the freaking Niners, a direct competitor of ours. It's not crazy value to trade up, but 21 and 117 to move up to 19, which is 2 spots, to select a pass rusher, which they technically didn't need. Let's grab him now. I suppose Daryl Odom is going to be the choice. Please just be hidden. That's all I asked for. And he is. Nice. Speed's a little bit lower than I would have thought. I would have thought like 84, 85, similar to Preston, but that's okay, I guess. And Demps goes before Lowry. That's harsh. I was kind of hoping that Lowry would have gone first, and I could have just traded up for Demps, but of course he is gone. I don't really think we have anything up here that's worthy of grabbing. Like I said, with Lowry, just be sitting back up for too long, even though I absolutely think he's going to be a good player. Of course, as you guys know now, we also did not get the greatest selection out of that trade. But, of course, Heath Wallace looks like he's going to be a great guard. Probably will be our future left guard when Elton's gone. Hidden development trade, 87 strength. So we trade 56, 180, and a 7th next year for 76, 108, and 140 this year. And with pick 12, if Wharton is still there, which he is, I feel like we've taken a guy that's fast named Wharton before. I'm going to grab him. He's fast enough to play that slot wide receiver role. We're kind of lacking there a little bit. 94 speed, 94 excel. Looks all right. 21 as well. And with tight end going right before us, and this crazy-looking tight end, McAllister, being a day 3, could literally go this pick if not for us trading up anyways. I think we're going to make the trade up to grab this tight end. We had that 5th-round pick to move up like 11 spots. It was actually kind of a high 5th-round pick, if I'm not mistaken, but no, maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was our 20th pick, which is still a good trade for them. But Brendan McAllister, of course, 6'3", a little bit on the smaller side, but athletic enough, and look at these ratings. A truck, A pass block, A short, A B spec, B medium, B impact, B run block power, A awareness. Unless it's the worst tight end class ever, which there was a couple of first-rounders, this guy could be a steal, and he absolutely is. He's hidden development trait, and maybe Laporta has a little bit of competition now. We're going to take a 4th round next year off the Panthers for our mid-5th round pick here. Kind of high, mid-5th. It's about the same. Let's take a look at the overalls, see what we're rocking with. 74 for the pass rusher, 74 for the center, 71 for the wide receiver, 75 for the tight end, 64 and 65 for these fellas. McAllister may be our new starting tight end. This guy has so much potential. He has all the traits on top of it. He's kind of a beast. Wharton, of course, very fast. How good he actually is he, though? 73, really. He's a pretty good player, actually. Wallace, the new, future left guard, looks pretty promising already, and I'm going to slap him in there right now just to take his place when it is time. Obviously, it's going to be a little while before then, but for now. And he's also superstar. Got a couple of superstar linemen in this one, which are kind of nuts. Of course, Odom, very good player, but a little lacking on the speed, like I said. It's all right, though. And is it left? I think we need a left out. I think Nagbari is going to be gone. I know he's got a good overall and he's decent, but he just plays badly. And another superstar. Okay. I mean, we take that. Of course, let's see how much we sold. 70. Okay, he is normal. Never mind. 79 overall, though, is absolutely absurd. 86 power move for a D-end. He's crazy. 84 speed as well. Of course, 88 tackle, but once again, normal development trade. If he gets a breakout or two, it's going to be technically a bonus, but as of right now, superstar is absolutely better than normal, believe it or not. I mean, my man's was lied about. They said F catch, F release. Now, the release probably is an F, but 74 catching isn't that bad. And the fact that he's 22, I mean, he's usable. He's usable. Look at this guy. This guy's an actual trash can. Literally unusable. I actually thought it was him when I was trying to release players, but it actually wasn't. We're going to trade Drew Sanders of the Falcons for a 3rd-round pick. All right, it's sort of year 3. The team is looking better and better. Obviously, Fasano went up many overalls. It's like a 73 overall to an 81. It was like 8 or something numbers, I guess. Wide receivers looking great. Miles is a superstar. I mean, these contracts are going to be just worthy. Wharton, obviously normal, but a good player. Wharton, the other Wharton, the better one, maybe can go and take another step forward and become a superstar, which would be amazing. O-line is getting better and better. Obviously, they're still pretty young, right? Our oldest is Presley, and maybe even let him go because he is the oldest, if you will, and obviously we have a lot of backup talent. So Presley might be let go, even though he is a good player. And Laporta's face just scares me, man. But I think he's going to start for the season. Going down the line, who knows? McAllister maybe steals his spot. Probably the season after this, maybe. But of course, defense looking great. Would love to win a Super Bowl for this team with Jair, Kenny Clark, Chris Jones, Devontae Wyatt, some older players here still that are not going to be here that much longer. But we'll see. Obviously, 87 overall, looking good. And once again, the quarterback could be like an 87, 88 by the end of the season, which would be maybe enough to win it all. I honestly have no idea what's going on, but the team is apparently doing badly, I guess. I don't know, but we're going to give Allen a 2-year deal worth like 30. I think that's fair at his age. He is regressing, but he's still good enough for now. Chris Jones is probably going to retire. Zach Tom will give him a 3-year worth about 42. Anyone else? Egnagbari, I think he's going to be gone. He's already kind of replaced. Solomon, kind of not in the exact same situation as the cornerback we just paid Akins, but still a good player nonetheless. So a 5-year, like 50, I think would be pretty fair for him, especially since he's the slot corner for now and will be for another couple of years anyways. Presley's gone. Wyatt's gone. I mean, pretty much all of these players are gone. Kenny Clark, I think, will have another chance. I think we're going to give him a 2-year deal. 2-year deal worth 24.5. He's played all right, but once again, we're not getting any pass rush from anyone. The tackles for a loss aren't crazy high, so we're just struggling in general. So win or lose, this division is absolutely pathetic regardless. And of course we lost, though. We would have literally had the division if we won. We miss at 7-10, but the Bears go 8-9 and make it. This is ridiculous. Once again, I get it. We were starting off worse off than the rest of the league, and we were trying to make the catch up, and a lot of the teams are similar overall, and it's just like a roll of the dice. But are we really this bad to where we can't even go at 500? I don't feel like that's fair. I mean, look at the touchdowns. They're awful. Rushing wasn't good at all. We got to change playbooks. It's literally all we can do. It's literally the only thing we can do. We're entering, year 4 now, and we can't even consistently make the playoffs. Of course, Preston, really good season. Kenny Clark was decent. Odom was okay for a rookie. Chris Jones, not bad for joining a new team. And once again, right at the end of his career, Akins with 5 interceptions. Could be a superstar X Factor, which have us with 3. Knoll was another really good season kicker. But overall, just another weirdly unsatisfying year. This could be just a straight-up failed rebuild. Of course, Wharton, Offensive Rookie of the Year. Odom, Defensive Rookie of the Year. They kind of just almost give it to the user, it seems. Akins, best DB, though. That's not something you normally just get for free when I actually pop out a titty. Saints and Chiefs back in the Super Bowl, and the winner of this one is the Saints. I mean, I'm definitely much happier than seeing the Chiefs win another Super Bowl. But, of course, let's take a look at the DevOps. I don't know if we would have had a single one, to be honest. We were just awful across the board. It was a bad season. Oh, somebody new. Quay is a superstar. That is huge. How old is he now? 29. That is kind of clutch. Akins doesn't go to X Factor. Of course, Jair is getting hit hard with the regression, but he's still good enough to start, even though he sucks at man coverage now. Akins is definitely the number 1 now. Solomon number 3. I mean, this is a team that obviously needs some progression, with Meekins and Rodgers, but the edge, maybe a little bit more seasons as well, but I just feel like this team was ready last year. I mean, you have 90s on the interior of the line, like basically 90s, very athletic at least, linebackers on the interior. the best corners of all time, at least a cornerback group, literally the best of all time. Quarterback didn't develop super well, but that's because he played poorly. You got 2 really good wide receivers, a really good running back, a solid offensive line, and yet we went 7-10. Chris Jones needs a contract, and Bari. I mean, there's some okay players here, but players we're just not going to pay. Presley's easily the biggest loss, but once again, not a player we technically need. So we have 68 mil. We need an interior defensive lineman, technically 2. We do have Pascal, so we're not like absolutely screwed. Wallace is the new starting guard for the right guard spot. Combs is still backup, but maybe he'll replace Elton, or the center replace Elton, and he'll play center. Defensive lineman, like I said, Pascal, not a guy I want to start, but if he absolutely had to, that's okay. He's just good enough as a pass rusher. But we definitely need a defensive lineman, maybe 2. And, I mean, that's kind of it. Everyone else just needs more seasons under the belt. And, I mean, we're looking good. We're a good team. I mean, I can't imagine this Crowther's like 28 maybe? Yeah, 28 as an X Factor is perfectly fine. I mean, I suppose we'll go to free agency. Maybe there's a defensive tackle, but there's not really a whole lot more we can do for the team to make them better. Karlaftis, not really an interior guy, unfortunately. Aikens maybe a little bit more proven, but not someone we technically need. A lot of old guys, as you would expect. Derek Brown and Ed Oliver. I mean, I think Ed probably fits what we need more, as we need like a pass rushing type, but we're definitely going to offer one of these 2 guys. I don't know who, but we're definitely going to offer on one of them because they could really help us right now, big time. Even Chris Jones is getting some offers. But yeah, I mean, it's probably going to just be another defensive tackle. That's about it. Oh, wow, Ed Oliver sucks. How is he this bad? What do they do to him? He's so bad. I guess it's Derek Brown time, baby. I like a little, sparking up a conversation. A little banter. Did I have to do it? Probably not. Did I do it? Damn right I did. Man, it is really hard, though, not to go for Karlaftis. He is insane. He's actually so good, dude. But once again, our edge rushers, they're not bad. And once again, they're also developing, so you got to play it smart, even though he's a freak, dude. On these rosters, I only made him star. I don't know how he's so good. We're entering the draft. We have pick number 12, and realistically, we should not have had a pick this high. So realistically as well, it's going to lead to us likely drafting for the future, as right now there's not really a glaring need that we need to fill right this instant. So I'm not really sure why we would take someone, high with... I don't even know. I don't even know what to say, because we just don't need anyone. We really have a solid team that, for the most part, is youthful as well. Of course, Clark and Brown, they'll both start. It's just, I don't know who's going to start where. Kenny Clark is actually pretty bad for his overall, but Derek Brown, of course, a little bit better of a block shot. We gave him a 2-year 24, so he'll be here another season after, while Kenny Clark's last season is probably this year. Maybe look for corner as a backup, but once again, future-proofing, probably going to look to trade this down and maybe take a DT or 2. And the Panthers are giving me exactly what I want. 28 this, 31 next, and a 3rd-round pick. I don't know what year that was, but I really don't care. We're going to trade into the 2nd round, or trade down to the 2nd round to grab pick 9 and a 3rd round, because I have a bunch of 2nd to 3rd round projected guys, so we're going to end up taking our first one here, assuming he's there, Mr. Compton, another A power move type guy, but also showing a beef and block shed anyways, a B tackle and decently strong, so we're going to grab him, hope for the best, as expected, normal development trade, but another high power move guy yet again, so still, once again, a pretty good pick for the future. Future-proofing, once again, he's 22, but A zone coverage, really athletic, looks great, and of course a 1-2 talent projected, so Josh Manuel, hidden development trait, still going to be sitting sometime, but we will have that spot in the sub linebacker for him, so could still get some burn over the next few years, but really that's kind of a Quay Walker replacement, maybe. I don't know, to be fair, with Quay Walker being a higher overall than his backup, well, not really his backup, but his number 2, he might actually outlast that guy. We're going to grab the 6'3" Nasir Holloman. He's got a C zone coverage just fast enough, I think, to take. He is hidden and even faster than I would have thought. 89 speed, 89 excel. I mean, when you compare him to Meekins, it's really surprising that he's actually that fast. Panthers are literally not caring about next year. They're the only team, I think, that offered us a second round next year, and we're just going to take it. We're kind of running out of things to do here, things to take, and with a 21-year-old lineman looking decent enough, I'm going to take that chance. And another hidden development. We trade a third and 2 fourths for the Colts' late projected second next year, which, assuming we have another year, will definitely allow us to grab some talent if we need it. Najee Newton is still there. He's 23, but he was pretty athletic. I'm a little surprised he's still there. Kind of making me want to grab him, but at the same time, don't need him, and he's, of course, 23, but, you know, a lot of bad players in general here. I mean, what else do I grab? Screw, we're going to take this big tank, James Vinson, 91 speed, 91 excel, 87 agility, but 235 with that kind of speed. He could be kind of glitchy. We're going to take this 6th-round wide receiver to convert him to... Are we not selected anymore? Did we lose our draft pick? We may have taken too long and lost our draft pick. Regardless, we have our draft recap, and the overalls are pretty tame. Is this the guy that they took for us? Not actually terrible, not like somebody I would use, but I mean, I've seen worse. 71 overall, a normal development trait, kind of irrelevant. 83 power move, you know. But Josh Manuel, a guy for the future, maybe not right now, like we said, but also still potentially a guy that could see the field a little bit as the sub-3. Let's take a look at his dev. Not that it's going to change anything. Star development trait. Even if it was Superstar or X Factor, you'd have to sit because we just have so much talent behind, in front of him anyways. Nasir Holloman, kind of almost better than the free safety we have currently. If he's Superstar, it's going to make things a little weird, but I suppose he'll just sit back up until he actually earns his starting role. What's his man in zone? All right. X Factor. That is the first X Factor we have grabbed in a very long time. And more importantly, in the 3rd round. That's pretty crazy. I didn't even know they went that. And then another superstar lineman. Now, it's not the best drafting we've ever done in like a franchise rebuild, but it's pretty good for some of those tough positions to get. Of course, that running back is very solid as well. Very good trucking, so kind of got our A.J. Dillon back. Technically, we got better than A.J. Dillon if you think about it. Very strong, but even faster. All right, so obviously, the servers again, every time. I should have looked at that other safety I was going to go for instead because he was slightly faster, but he had a D zone, and I was like, it's a little low for my liking. But I suppose Meekins is a very good player regardless, so we'll just let it play out. We'll see what happens. Maybe we don't have to do anything. Like, I don't really know what we can do about the situation because it's just 3 really good players, but obviously the X Factor has the very highest of ceilings compared across the squad. All right, here's the squad. Haven't changed anything, but we have added... Well, actually, our right guard has changed, right? Wallace is actually starting now, but we do have backups for positions that need to be replaced soon. Laporta, I think, is going to start another season with McAllister learning the ropes and probably starting for him next year. Of course, defensively, Brown is the new addition with Kenny Clark playing the right end spot now, and we'll need to replace those. So really not doing a good job of replacing interior linemen, but everything else we have done near perfectly. Re-signings. Has it really been 2 years already? Of course, Ricky Rodgers is a superstar lineman who is just a good player in general. We're going to be giving him the old Max Rooney 7-year 120, I think is pretty fair, right? If anything, it's probably on the low end. Blair Rodgers needs a contract, which is also a very fair price. So I guess we'll do a 5-year 40 since we don't technically need him. So if he were to be let go, I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world. The kicker, who has been just absolutely insane, I want to give him a nice little deal, a 4-year 20. That's not, I would not do a 4-year 30. This running back, we did get a power back so we don't really need George Haynes. I also don't know how good he's played or well he's played. Our starting running back has played pretty badly, so I imagine, of course, having his best year yet, it appears, but still not, like, spectacular, so I'm going to let him go. We also gave Jair a 1-year 16 as, at worst, he'd be, an 88 overall. It's still fine enough, even if you had to play the number 3 spot. Trying to keep this really sick defense in DBs at least, in line. Oh, superstar development trade for the other pass rushing linebacker. All right, we really need a win here. We really need one, and we do win, and it's enough to barely make the playoffs. I wonder if we actually stole the spot from the Detroit Lions, but regardless of how we got here, it wasn't a pretty season. It was a great start, just like last year, 6-2 it appears, but then we lost how many games in a row? 5. Winning 2, losing 1, and then winning again. Of course, a lot of close games in fairness, but still, I just feel like we're one of the best teams in the league, and we're barely winning more games, at least this season even, than we're losing. Last season wasn't even close. We weren't even, we didn't even come close to winning more or even coming even. Of course, still running Green Bay's offense. I think we may need a change, though. Of course, Wharton have another really good year like he did the first season he came to the team. Receivers looking pretty good. Other Wharton looking decent, and then Laporta looking actually really bad. Offensive line, much more improved from the right tackle spot. And then Ricky Rodgers, gotta love an 89 overall superstar, giving up 18 sacks. Love that, EA. I mean, it's pretty awesome. Sack total, speaking of, Preston. This is why I was kind of thinking, why do I call him the other guy? Like, get what I was saying, right? The other guy will now have superstar like the, Odom does. But Preston has been the only kind of decently consistent pass rusher we have. I don't understand what's going on. I don't know if they just still need to develop because they are kind of on the lower overall side. But, how long is it going to take before we have some decent seasons here for the pass rushers, And then, of course, Noel he's just a killer. MVP goes to Lamar Jackson. And for other awards, I highly doubt we'll win any. But you know what? That's okay, because all that matters is we make the playoffs and have a chance. But even though we have a really good overall, the way we've been playing, I don't feel like that chance is very high, at least. In Washington, might even be a win for this team. Is not the greatest track record at home lately in the playoffs, but 7-14, okay, 7-16. Apparently we gave up safety, just trying to find new ways to win, as this Green Bay team does. Lots of close call drives, but just can't score. Down 12, still down 12. Still down 12, and we're going to lose as an 8 overall better team. Man, Sim is not being friendly to us here today. That is so BS. 42 attempts, and he only hit 18 of them. What is wrong with this team? We're rocking Chiefs playbook for the last season. I don't care. What else am I supposed to do? Clearly, the playbooks are just controlling the game. I mean, that's really all I can tell you. Actual joke. Literally one of the best teams in the league now. Ever since we took over with the crazy year 1 we had for this team. Let's take a look at the overalls now. Obviously, we were one of the worst, if not the worst. Now we are, you can see 85. So the Saints are higher than us. But guess what? The Saints have actually won multiple Super Bowls. We can't even come close to the Super Bowl. The Bears, in fairness, should be pretty mad, too, because they're a 90 overall, and they just missed the playoffs, I imagine. What else do we have? The Chiefs. I mean, there's literally no team as good as us. And once again, we had a very delayed start. The 12-5 Lions were an 87 overall. And you got to remember, this is a team filled with players that are going to be gone soon. So for us to not even get close to the Super Bowl yet again, that might have been it. This might just be a complete failure because of EA. Of course, it doesn't help that we actually played the Super Bowl runner-ups in the first week, but still, we should have beat them. Of course, looking at DevOps, maybe somebody on the defense, but I don't imagine anyone on offense. Wharton maybe had a sliver of a chance, but yeah, he didn't get a dev up. And then defensively, we see nothing, unfortunately. Not a single dev up. Also, please tell me it told us that we needed to re-sign Kenny Clark, because I really don't want to have him on the team for another year, but if we have to, I guess. Oh, Lord. Hope he didn't regress too hard. Of course, Laporta, he really hasn't played well for us anyways, and all these other players can easily be replaced. Sorry, Kyle Poole. Never had a chance. But hey, you got a long-term deal. You made about 5 to 10 mil in the league. That's something. I'd be cool with it. So even after regressions hit, we are still a very top-tier team. Fasano has been kind of bad, though. I'm not going to lie. Could be scheme, but it might be just something else. But if you look at him, he's really solid. I don't know if it's just short accuracy matters that much, but 90 accurate, under pressure, 88 awareness, 88 break tackle, 86 throw on the run, 92 throw power, 92 deep, 92 medium. He's got a little bit of athleticism if he needs to take off. I don't understand. With the sick team he has as well, I don't understand why we're not doing better. Of course, Derek Brown not being an X Factor regressed so hard. Did he drop like 10 block shed? Oh my god! 11 block shed! That is horrendous. Watch, ironically enough, it'll be his best season yet. That's actually absurd. I want to take a look if we can get rid of Kenny Clark or him, but I mean, I doubt him. But yeah, I don't know if we even have a replacement anyways. Matt Meeks, don't really need him. Cornerback, maybe for the future, but as of right now, we're kind of set for the next like 3 or 4 years outside of like the number 3 spot. There doesn't appear to be anyone in free agency that's going to help us. There's, nobody. So it's basically last year all over again with worse players on the team still being there, but they're worse off because they're getting even older. The hope is maybe to roll a different team in the playoffs if we get there, or that the other teams have regressed even harder, maybe, I guess. I don't know how well the Panthers did. Let's take a look at those picks. So 27, we have 41 in the second. Not crazy high value, but maybe we make a trade with those picks, because honestly, if this is our last year anyways, there's kind of no point in us holding on and drafting somebody, but I also don't want to end it in an unrealistic way. So, I don't know. Breesy was re-signed by the Raiders, who's, absolutely been killing it. We trade 19, 41, and 59, it sounds like 1941, for Dexter, who's an 89 overall, 29-year-old X-Factor DT with good pass rush ability. I don't know if this is going to be a good decision, but it's the decision I made. We trade 27, 83, and a 5th round next year for pick 18, which we will be using for another defensive tackle. This one looks a little bit different to the others. He looks a little bit more like elusive, more fluid, and with the A block shed, B power move, very athletic, super strong. I'm expecting a decent player, maybe our first hidden. No, it's not! Another normal dev, dude. These are all useless. I just don't even want to talk about it, honestly. Let's go to pick 19. We're going to grab ourselves a slot cornerback for when Jair leaves. Looks okay, nothing crazy, but let's grab him. Austin Riddick, very athletic, 5'9", normal development trade again, though. We trade Kenny Clark and 122 to the Lancers for 68. I'm just going to start one of these DTs that have decent power move, or if that guy does look solid enough, we'll take him and use him, the guy that we got in the first round. But with this pick, I'm going to grab another future-proofing linebacker. He's 22 with an A-zone coverage, super athletic, hoping for our first hit in the draft. And no! Very athletic, though. Even the jumping is pretty damn good. 81 is solid for a linebacker, but nope, once again, not going to happen. We're going to grab a decently good pro day C-finesse DT. He's 21 years old. What can we really lose at this point? Very strong, like we said, and a backup for now, maybe a start. We have so many DTs, and they're literally all normal dev. We're going to grab another power back, Greg Monroe, and he's hidden development trade, which is very interesting. I don't really know what that really does for us, unless he's like a superstar or an X-Factor, but I suppose he's the new number 2. We're going to grab a very fast tight end, even though he's 23 and unprojected drafted, but okay, he's hitting as well. It kind of seemed a little too obvious, right? An A deep with super speed. I'm not sure why he was projected so late, but getting some gems that I didn't even have on my board, but just last second decided to take a look at what we needed depth for, and we kind of clutched up. And the DT was starter caliber. Let's take a look at his finesse / power move. I think we're going to start him. I think he's athletic enough as well to do that, so I suppose he's going to replace Mr. Kenny Clark and maybe be a better player already for this season, day 1. Be really disappointed if we won the Super Bowl with the new playbook, with Kenny Clark leaving, but, it's the way things go. 71 overall, has potential, but obviously nothing really right now. 72 overall, would play middle linebacker, and he's very, very raw, but I suppose Harrison Smith looking This is what Hoskins looks like. Kind of an player, right? 65 overall, hidden development trait. Once again, hidden isn't really the hardest thing to get, so if he's not at least superstar or better, he probably won't start, which also kind of signifies that we're going to glitch, or we're not glitching, but we're cheating here. Doesn't matter anyways, as he is star development rate. And then Will here is probably a tough guy to develop as well if you were going to, but I mean, at the same time, 6'5", very fast. 23 sucks, but it's still something. This also changes number to something in the 80s if we got something available. I really don't care. 87, why not? And he's a superstar. I've never seen that. A 7th round, technically undrafted no, actually, I've seen undrafted projected guys go. I've seen superstars that are undrafted projection. Maybe not a tight end, but other positions like corner. Here we are for the final season. No matter what happens, we're losing players left and right. They're only going to get worse. And yeah, that's what the offense looks like. Defensively, we have changed it up again. Dexter is now the starting DT with Derek Brown, who regressed so hard playing left end. Parks, 75 overall at right end, but tons of potential, especially if he gets a breakout or two early. Corner, still insanely talented. Linebackers, really solid, getting even better as well. The outside linebackers, at least. But the inside linebackers, 90 overall, 30. 87 overall, 30. Jair, 91 overall, but 34, 33. He's 74 man, but his zone coverage is just good. Is really good, and his speed is just good enough to stay as the starter and all that. But yeah, we're losing a lot more than we're gaining these days, and this is really the last chance. We should have probably won a few already, and if not, I guess it's a failed rebuild. All right, so re-signings. This is like the year, of course, that things kind of get expensive. But of course, we also have a ton of money. Fasano's been good, but he hasn't been that good. Dexter, we just obviously traded kind of a lot to get. So I think a 3-year deal worth 33, kind of a steal in general. Mayer will may or may not be here. Resign. He will actually be here. It's kind of the whole point of re-signing. Slayton, I do not know. If I'm going to be honest, I do not know. Of course, Preston, you absolutely have to pay because we've struggled to get pass rushers. I don't even know what kind of season he's going to have, but, at least he's decent. Meekins, going to get himself a 6-year deal. We do have that X Factor backup. He'll find somewhere to start, I imagine. We're also going to pay the running back because he is just, a very versatile player, super fast. Paul Miles will definitely get the contract. And then, I don't know about the wide receiver. That 29, is he? That's 5-year deals, kind of, on the up for, how long we want to pay him. Nice. No, I can't. I honestly can't. Playoffs time, and we win, sending us in with the home field advantage. And there you go, Parks. Right in time for the playoffs is going to have star development trade with that 5K XP on top of it. Of course, we changed to the Chiefs playbook, and what do you know? We're in the playoffs. Not a crazy oh my, maybe not a crazy win-loss season, but holy crap, Fasano. That could be the best touchdown to pick ratio I've seen in a Madden sim ever. He's literally MVP. Like, you cannot beat the touchdown to pick ratio that he has there. Of course, on top of that, Wharton with 20 rushing touchdowns, a 4.7 yards per carry average. Miles killed him. McAllister was great. Crowther was kind of iffy, not going to lie. Wharton, the wide receiver, okay for a slot receiver. Of course, linemen, the blockers just suck. Pass rush, though, look at that. 14 for Preston, 11 for Odom. Interior, they were all right. Nothing crazy, but man, talk about a season for Mr. Preston. 17 tackles for a loss on top of it. Quay Walker with 6 interceptions for a linebacker. That's pretty good. And then Knoll, of course, the worst of them all. The worst season he's had is when the team is good. Please don't lose us the playoffs. Please. It takes us so long to get here. Of course, Fasano, as expected, is the MVP. And surprisingly, our wide receiver isn't up there. 20 touchdowns? 18 touchdowns? I don't even remember how many yards. It was a lot, though. It's a very good season, believe it or not. Quarterback really high up there, number 1. Wharton, number 1. Miles, number 1. O-line, number 6, number 7, and number 10. D-line, no, but linebackers, number 1 and 5. Wait, what about Quay? Was Quay on the list? Quay wasn't on the list! Really? Could go to X Factor, which could be clutch. DB, no. Kicker, definitely not. But of course, whether we make it to the Super Bowl and win it, or we lose this very game, it doesn't matter to me, as we are going to be done with this rebuild as this season finishes. Prime time, Green Bay versus the Giants at home. Very classic matchup. Down by 4. Not a very good matchup so far, though, but nice touchdown there right before half. And with that, I think we're going to walk away with this one, of course. It looked pretty close, and then the defense, of all things, decided to just never let them score again. They scored a touchdown as the clock expired, but, like, who cares? Quarterbacks, obviously, Alfonso Mateus with 3 interceptions, coming back to Green Bay where he played college to get absolutely smoked. Of course, Fasano a lot better than him. Rushing, not great for Vincent, but, I mean, I suppose we had a lot of attempts, which would tell you that we're succeeding on offense, getting first downs and whatnot. But, yeah, definitely need a better performance in the rush game. Miles Murphy has been a great player for this team, in the league so far. As we see, he's, like, always on the top 5 list for sacks. A couple of interceptions for us. The DB's going off. Kicking, Noel was just trolling with us. He was Nolan. I'm not going to say that again. Division round, who are we going to face against? Washington again. Maybe our chance to get revenge. They're literally 11 overalls less than us. This is insane. All right, going to the end of the game. Washington on top with 3. We get a touchdown as retaliation. They get a touchdown again. We respond with a touchdown. Now up 7. Halftime score is going to be equal at 17. They're driving now. They're going to get a touchdown. We are all tied up at 24 all. They get a field goal to take the lead. We re-tie the game. Now we're up by 7. Washington clutches up, taking it to overtime. But Green Bay, we're moving down, and we win the game on the very first drive in overtime, leading us to the championship round. I mean, we literally have the freaking Chiefs offense, and we are almost losing to Washington, who is 11 overalls less than us. I don't know who these guys think they are, but they're actually insane. Quay Walker with an interception, which was, I would imagine, clutch, because I would think it was the only turnover of the game, at least quarterback turnovers. But here is, like we said, the championship round. I hope this video is not too long. Going up against the Bears. Last time Green Bay played or won in a championship round was against the Bears, and they won the Super Bowl that year, so a little bit of deja vu, maybe. Very long time deja vu, but still kind of counts, I guess, as Baltimore is going to be the team representing in the AFC. 7-0, 7-7. Chicago looking good to score again. They do again. Offense is kind of struggling, but right back just like they did. 2 quick scores. A 3-point deficit. Green Bay turning the ball over a ton. Chicago trying to keep them in it, but I don't think it's going to happen, as just too many turnovers, it seems. And they're going the wrong way. I really don't care that much to win this, but I do kind of want to use the roster, so maybe I'll give it 1 drive, even though it's probably not going to work out too well. The tight end is very open there, and he's going to gain all the way to, the 40? Play action to Miles, who's going to be hopefully running wide open as... Yeah, we actually had a chance maybe to look over there. Look at that bait, though. Although he kind of left it. Miles running to the end zone and is down to the 1. What a play. Fasano does have, the right amount of speed. Of course, that Excel really helps, but he really is kind of juiced. He's kind of beastly. And we're going to throw to the outside. Miles again. Touchdown. Dot. Not that it needed to be because he was wide open, but still. Of course, with a minute 10 left. All timeouts, though. The one time it's good that the AI doesn't utilize all their timeouts. Not a bad little try, but of course not going to get it. Need a stop. Have a chance. All right, here we go. 1st and 10 from the 42-yard line. No stop, no chance. And we did wait. Barely getting out there. Almost completely sold that. I was like, you know what? Somebody has to contain the edge. And barely we did. Yeah, I said it words. Barely we did. What do you want? Of course, going to be running the run commit here. I think gained 5 on the first play. They're got to run it again, right? It would just make no sense not to. And we're going to run up there, and we're going to stop them. A loss of 2 this time. Not going to run commit on this one, as they do have a bunch of potential receivers here. Quay Walker in a good spot. Let's go with Parks, I guess. Not going to get it, and he dropped it extra late. The cornerback sold, but the safety popped it out. And with a 57-yard field goal, in or not, the team is going to have a chance. Riddick's not going to get there, but the kick is going to be no good. It's like a fairy tale. Maybe a chance to Crowther, who I hate his name, but he's a very good player, obviously. And we're going to try to get that in there. We do. I think it's time to spike it. Quarterback. I knew he turned the ball over a lot, but oh my God, is he awful. This dude's a trash can. What is he doing, man? Okay, I guess we'll just run that. Running back is wide open. Wharton is going to take it for a huge gainer of 10. Talk about a bad performance, though. Oh, my. Absolutely horrendous. And that is a tough one. Look at the cornerback making a play on that. Oh, it's 4th down. That's a huge L. I'm going to ice our own selves. I'm going to let the AI kick it. 50 yards. Is Noel going to choke? He doesn't. It is going to likely be overtime. It is. The Bears will get the ball here, though. Is that going to be all for nothing as the defense isn't really doing a whole lot, but here they have a chance. 3rd and 7. Bringing about 4 players off the edge. No one's really getting home. There's nobody playing underneath, even though it's literally what we said to do. Nobody playing underneath decides, despite the fact that it says play underneath, but okay. And the safety is going to have a chance. Doesn't bring him down. Who is this guy? Is this, who is this? Dexter looks like a beast, by the way. He's actually massive. And it was to him. And there goes Jair, Mr. Dependable. Not panicking, even though he was the last line of defense. And no matter what, you pretty much have to run the blitz. You have no choice but to. And they're going to win the game on a sit-down route, which is just absolutely busted. The Chicago Bears are going to the Super Bowl, and we, as a 94 overall team, are going to never reach it. That is crazy. The amount of sim unluck we've had. Of course, Lippett. I don't know who any of these guys are. I just can't imagine they're good, though. Of course, like picks from guys. 2 picks from L'Jarius Sneed. I'm sure he's still good in the league, right? He's in 83 overall. Like, what the hell is going on here? 82 overall, actually. Of all the players picking things off, it shouldn't be him. Of course, how is he 94 speed still, by the way, at 33? That's absurd. Like, how? What the hell? Jair is like 90 now. Let's see who wins the Super Bowl, though, between the Ravens and the Bears. Take a look at some of the players we had, see how they developed, and call it a rebuild. Not a success, not a failure. We lost to the Super Bowl winners, so what can you really do? Of course, looking at the team, dev up for Mr. Miles and Fasano. Obviously, he has some upgrades, so we'll upgrade him real quick. Let's just use all the upgrades and then look. Of course, Wharton also went up to Superstar, which is pretty damn good timing. Obviously, a very super speedy back. Paul Miles is an X Factor now. Good timing for him as well. Maybe not good timing, but clutch timing. Only 80 release, though, which is a kind of an L. Crowther, really bad short route, right? Yeah, but everything else is amazing, obviously. And then as far as Fasano goes, is a short route, short throwing any better? It is 87. Very good player across the board. O-line, I guess Wallace, he was kind of a recent start, but he's absolutely a beast. The finesse sucks, but he's a freaking interior guy, so stop yelling at him. Of course, the left tackle, Ricky Rodgers, very interesting name. Very good power blocker, but once again, he's in tackle, so you'd actually want him to be better at finesse. Zach Tom, 32 years old, developed really solidly, but kind of reaching the near end of his career. You also have McAllister, who is obviously kind of a late starter, but still good enough and still very young to develop. Quay Walker does get to X Factor, but as you can see, it's a little too late, and I just could have caught myself in a loop there. Too little, just kept going forever, but good enough for another season at least, I guess. And then Slayton, a guy that we had a chance to re-sign for 3-year, 27, decided not to, and it's not a terrible decision, but he is regressing. He's like 31 now, so maybe he has one final decent year left in him. Odom and Preston, 2 very decent players that only just finally put it together, but obviously long-term wise, you're looking at a very sick-looking duo. Meekins, who obviously maybe should have been replaced by that X Factor, but obviously a very good player in general. Same with Mr. Rodgers here. I mean, not Mr. Rodgers, Blair Rodgers. Very good zone coverage. Obviously, This is not who I was looking at, but the safety, that X Factor, he's an 88 overall. No, that's the corner. I was about to say 88 overall. That's kind of high. I was about to say without starting, but 81 overall without starting. Imagine if he would have kind of wasted him, but we didn't really have a spot for him, all right? 28 years old for Akins, who is a god-tier man corner. I mean, just freakily good. That press should never beat it. Jair at 34 is still usable, but once again, 89 speed, despite the fact that Snead, who had 2 picks, was somehow 94 speed at 33, and he wasn't even an X Factor. Solomon's a great player. He'll be the new number 2. I mean, not that we're actually going to play. And then Dexter is obviously still really good. Glad that we got him and re-signed him to a 3-year deal. Derek Brown is literally going to free agency. And then Parks was kind of a latecomer. He just showed up last season and was a pretty good factor, though. He's a decent player for us. And that's pretty much it. You know, not really the most successful rebuild, but, I mean, it's a successful rebuild, just didn't get the Super Bowl win or even the trip, but obviously as far as roster building goes, we turned it around decently quick, managed the money about as well as possible, and kept adding new talent and future-proofing as much as possible. But if you guys enjoyed, maybe leave a like, subscribe if you're new, follow me on Twitter, Jeromepkr, second channel PK Plays. If you're not new, appreciate your continued support a ton. And yeah, doubt there's going to be a video tomorrow unless somebody comes up with some special 4th of July idea. I can't really think of anything, and I mean, how many people are going to be watching YouTube videos on 4th of July anyways? Who freaking knows? But we'll see. If not, Tuesday will be Nighthawks again, and we'll see as we go on. If you have any ideas for rebuilds for the future, let me know in the comment section below. And that's about it. Maybe we do 10-year, in the future rebuild, something. I don't know. That's about it, though. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys come back for next video. But until next video, see ya!